So with that, guys, the match we've all been waiting for, the main event of the afternoon. We have INSUP versus Spiral. Night Elf versus Undead. And we are going to start our series on Last Refuge. And after some hiccups this morning, we are ready to get started. Hippo, I will take a look at that soon. I don't believe I've seen that, but we'll take a look at that soon. And just a little backstory here. We have two of some of the greatest players in the world playing today against one another in Fountain of Manor League. We have Spiral, our resident Night Elf competitor, down wearing the red trunks. Will be competing in DreamHack this winter. He's already qualified for the European bracket. And in the top right, donning the yellow, you all know who it is. Boom, 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 boom. Fist bumps all around. It's INSUP, who also has qualified for DreamHack Winter in the Americas bracket. So, two fellow DreamHack competitors, although they will not compete against one another in DreamHack, they're going to compete right here, right now in Fountain of Manor League. So we do see the Ghoul DK opener from INSUP. No graveyard at the moment, so no fiends yet. Ancient of War creeping has begun. For Spiral, thank you, Soulful, and great game last series. Taking it 2-0. Very well done. It's quite a pleasure watching that beautiful human mirror. Ancient War creeping underway. INSUP now about to get started himself. Has the rods ready to get started on the northernmost creep camp. Keep the Grove getting the Ring of Todd +3. And moving on over to the next creep camp. Meanwhile, INSUP going to get Ring of Todd for himself. 2 rings of protection going out to both competitors. Spiral moving on along, checking on the macros back home. Hunter's Hall coming up online. Maybe some Huntress transition on the way. Wisps all around the map, ready to be scouting all of the pivotal, most important points of the matchup. Keeper the Grove also getting a Slippers of Agility. Not quite the items you're looking for in the early game, rings and slippers, but nonetheless, important items. Gets to detonate just in time to prevent any XP transfer. Now, Treants here to disrupt some of INSUP's creeping attempts. Nice Death Coil onto the Wounded Ghoul. Another Wounded Ghoul being microed back. Going to get auto-attack down. Maybe the Archer will be able to finish that off. Archer does get the pick off. As Anubris, the Keeper of the Grove, continuing to chase down INSUP, who is heading on down to Spiral's base. INSUP going to pay a visit to some of these Wisps. Spiral going to get those detonates off just in time, but each Wisp gone is 5 less mana. 5 less lumber, sorry, coming in. So one more Archer falls. INSUP taking care of some of these weakened Archers, summoning more skeletons, and almost got a nice surround on the Keeper of the Grove there, courtesy of the environment. Does lock it in here. Keeper of the Grove, such a big hitbox. Pretty easy to lock those surrounds, and even with the smaller ghouls and skeleton warriors, now Keeper of the Grove needs to be very careful here. Has a couple taps at the Moonwell, but INSUP trying to get body blocks to prevent any sort of moon juice being used. Also going to lock in yet another surround. Keeper of the Grove trying to weasel his way out, but INSUP with a beautiful surround right now. Is he going to be able to get out of here? Will he be able to kill this ghoul and get out of here? INSUP locked in another surround again. Keeper of the Grove level 2, and what an early game from INSUP. Pops the dust of appearance. Also wants to lock in these Huntress kills too. Going to be able to take down this Huntress as well. Really not much moon juice left to go around, bringing the injured ghouls back home What a strong early game presence from INSUP. The continual lockdowns and surrounds on the Keeper of the Grove. And now the Death Knight in good position to get some good pickoffs of some of these Wisps. Meanwhile, back home, Wisp in the trees checking out INSUP's double crypt push right now. So Spiral knows what he will be up against for the foreseeable future. Keeper of the Grove halfway done. Still has quite a while to go. Ghoul's now going to work onto the Moonwell. Is going to get another surround in on this Huntress here. Huntress trying to get its way out by killing one of the northernmost points. And thanks to the detonate, those summoned units have gone away for now. No more Rods of Necromancy in the inventory of the Death Knight. So now it's just going to be Ghouls and DK here on out. Going to go for one of these Moonwells as well. But INSUP trying to lock down yet another surround on the Huntresses, who do manage to escape. 3 hunts now on the field for Spiral. The Moonwell does go down, putting Spiral at 40 food capacity now. Keeper of the Grove knows he doesn't want to get caught again. If he gets caught again, that could be the end for game 1. INSUP wants to put as much pressure on as he can. Night Elf certainly feeling some of the pain, some of the pressure. Spiral getting some body blocks onto the Death Knight, able to sneak out as well. INSUP not able to secure the surround with his, how many ghouls here? 10 or 11 ghoul army. 40 food to 30 food. Spiral finally starting to get some sort of momentum back. Huntresses will be able to do quite a bit of damage to these ghouls if he can get the numbers. Has 4 hunts, but so many ghouls on the field. Treants also here to help out. Maybe another surround on a hunt. INSUP just going for Surround City right now. Does get another surround on a Huntress. This Huntress certainly going to fall. Huntress is now trying to get some auto attack damage and glaive damage on. One more dust to be popped. Will be able to finish off this Huntress, getting level 3 onto the Death Knight. And what an early game from both competitors here. Spiral trying to secure one of these ghoul kills. Ghoul is sacrificed to the creeps. Does not get the XP. Although is quite close to level 3. Tree of Life behind all of this. Did not even see that. Tier 2 now on the way for INSUP. Double Crypt still online. Going to take down the Altar of Elders as well. And the Crypt, Double Crypt Ghoul army of INSUP marching forward. Now have their eyes on the original Tree of Life as the proxy Tree of Life has planted down. Going to start entangling the gold mine of the Natural Expo. Finishing out that creep camp. Does have the level 3 he's looking for. Got the the level 2 Treants. So that additional Treant certainly going to help. Now repair efforts from the Wisps, putting the injured Wisp back into the entangled gold mine, trying to save this Tree of Life. He doesn't have much life left, and the repair efforts of the Wisp won't be enough as the Ghoul DK army now take down the Tree of Life at the main base. Ancient Protector coming on up. 4 Huntresses left, now able to finally get enough damage onto these ghouls to maybe start getting some pickoffs, and a really strong early game push from INSUP, who is now 70% there to tier 2. Double Crypts online. Graveyard also available for potentially a Fiend transition. We'll definitely see statues coming up next, sending these wounded ghouls home to start chopping the trees up again. And my, behind all of this, somehow Spiral managed to get an Expo up too. Somehow. But INSUP's not going anywhere, coming right back with the DK, just checking on things. And now the pressure on the undead main base. A lot of auto attacks onto the ghouls, and the glaive's going to be bouncing back and forth onto these ghouls. Going to try to lock in a surround again on the Keeper of the Grove. That could be the end for Spiral. Another lockdown onto the Keeper of the Grove. What a surround, INSUP. I've lost count on how many surrounds have happened this game. No way to get out. Keeper is going to fall. And Huntresses continue to whittle down some of these ghouls. That's the second death of the Keeper of the Grove this game. Thank you for the follow, Sandra Cuttis 2020. What a game. Spiral has to bow out, and the first game in definitive early game fashion does go to INSUP. Well played. And my cat wants to get outside. Tux, buddy, you're not going outside. Come here. Come lay down with me. Come on my lap. Come here. Well, come here. He's going to sit up there? Okay. Well, if you're going to sit up there, no howling. No. Come over here. Come on. Come watch the game. He's being stubborn. My cat's being stubborn, per usual. And again, just what a game. 1-0 INSUP really putting the pressure on early. So many surrounds as INSUP is so adept at doing. And just putting the pressure on continually on Spiral, never letting the foot off the gas. And really, really strong game one from INSUP as Spiral needs to think about what to do to counter this extremely strong early game presence from INSUP. Ghouls DK. As we're moving on to game two. This time the host is in Europe. Maybe that will help make a difference for Spiral. But game two going to be played on Amazonia. Here we go. INSUP in 1-0 has the momentum in his favor, but no longer has the ping in his favor, as now we're playing on European hosts. What's up, buddy? Come over here. Come lay down. My cat's very upset. I don't know why. But he's stubborn and won't come over here, so I can give him some pets. So if you can hear him in the background, he's okay. He's just dramatic. He's just sitting up on his cat tower looking at me. Wants to go outside, wants to play with the birds. You know. You know how it goes. Rough life of a kitty cat. Alright, and INSUP maybe looking to put more pressure on in the same fashion he did it in game one. Not the longest walking distance to get to your opponent on Amazonia. Ghouls getting trained already. I expect a DK coming as well. There it is, right on time. Keeper of the Grove, yet again, Ancient of War creeping this camp out. We may see a similar early game to last game. Maybe the extreme ghoul pressure of INSUP also. The Rod of Necromancy so effective. Maybe could have seen a couple more wisps pulled to get some detonates onto those skeleton warriors. Might have been able to help, but so much pressure from INSUP there. And I just realized I have the wrong Fountain of Manor overlay on. This is not Group F. This is Group A. So, Group A, not Group F. But not a big deal. Here we go. Lightning Shielded Archer going to work onto the total creep camp here. Going to lock down all of these kills without the Ancient of War stealing any of the XP. Gonna get the ring again. These early game items so, just quite frankly, terrible. And let's see what INSUP gets. Gonna get the much more preferred circlet. Gonna really like that early game. Keeper also gonna finish up this creep camp. Get a Mantle of Intelligence. That's much better. That's more like it. Wisp continuing their scouting efforts. No graveyard at the moment. Going to continue producing ghouls, much like last game, and maybe putting the pressure on the Night Elf yet again. Nice Death Coil onto the ghoul. Get stabilized, get healed up, and get ready. Looks like INSUP's marching across Amazonia. Just like last game. Going to go for the early game push. Treants 1 Archer, again, taking advantage of the Ancient of War creeping, reducing the amount of units that the Night Elf can have. And maybe I need to start doing something like this. These early game pushes from INSUP, so effective. Just look how many units there are, the raw masses of units, and only one Keeper of the Grove and a couple Treants. Yes, you're going to have Wisps. You're going to get some detonates, reduce the number significantly, but you still have 6 ghouls, 7 ghouls in your face. Huntress is online now, trying to produce them as quickly as possible. Another hunt in production. Huntress is quite effective at dealing with ghouls, but so is Death Coil at healing ghouls. Going to get another surround on Spiral, and he's going to have nightmares of being surrounded by ghouls and skeleton warriors. Keeper of the Grove able to lock in a counter surround. Be able to whittle his way on out of there. Not this time. Spiral learned his lesson last game. As this time looks like Spiral is not going to suffer the same fate as Game 1. Will survive the early game push of iNSUP. Has some extremely wounded ghouls. Won't be able to be healed by Death Coil anytime soon. Would love to get those pickoffs. But Spiral getting stabilized, getting more Huntresses, starting the Tier 2 tech, moving on with a safer early game than last game. iNSUP also moving on to the next creep camp, which Spiral has already taken, but Spiral looking for that level 3 from this creep camp, looking to pay it back forward to iNSUP. Finally got past that very vulnerable early game of the Night Elf. It's that point right after the Ancient of War creep. Don't have a lot of units produced, and with a heavy summon army like Undead, as you saw in Game 1, so deadly. Entangles now onto the ghouls, going to be picking them off one at a time. Going to try to hang around, but iNSUP going to try to deny this ghoul as well. Does get the deny, very nice, but still a ghoul lost. Let's Keeper of the Grove wandering around clockwise of the embankment here. Going to maybe head for this orange camp.
A town is under siege.
Skeleton Warrior going to just be a nuisance to the attention span of Spiral. Now just has to at least take a look at it, pay attention, and maybe a creepjack opportunity for Spiral here. Going to get off some of those nice entangles onto the ghouls. Also start damaging some of the weaker ghouls who are also poisoned from the creep camp. Ghouls move back immediately into the back of the base. Also probably going to start chopping wood. A nice entangle. Not going to be denied by iNSUP. iNSUP now on his heels a little bit. As Spiral in the main base of iNSUP. iNSUP needs to be careful here. Maybe going to purchase some useful items from the shop. Has plenty of rods of necromancy to go around. Going to raise as many skeleton warriors as he can to help fight the good fight. Push back this Night Elf army of Spiral. 3 hunts, 2 archers. Has a lot of range. Has a lot of normal attack damage. Has the range of the archers to be able to put some persistent damage down. And some pause from iNSUP. Needs a quick second. And we're ready to get right back into the action. Without barely a pause. All right, Death Knight back at the shop. Will he purchase anything on his way out? Nope. Just going to raise a couple Skeleton Warriors. Spiral has a hidden Huntress here. Getting some visibility. Certainly going to be buying a Tavern Hero in just a couple seconds here. Who will it be? It's going to be the Panda. Breath of Fires all day long on the Ghoul Army. Going to be really strong Tier 2 push from Spiral here. Gargs now in production for iNSUP. Pretty common against Night Elves. And you've seen Hippos. Hippos don't do as well as, I believe, a mass Dryad Archer army. Gargs just so effective in the air at melee damage and in the right amount of numbers. So effective at picking off unarmored units like Huntresses and Dryads as well. It does come down to good micromanagement. Now the Gargs have been spotted. Spiral knows what is coming. Going to make the right pivots on his end. Double lures on the way. Going to start producing some Dryads as soon as possible. Archers getting some pickoffs of one of these injured ghouls here. Also, the Gargs paying some of the price. Ghouls are getting entangled one by one, trying to take care of the ground army, but the air presence of iNSUP continuing to grow in strength. Going to be something that Spiral needs to contend with right away. Not going to be able to entangle any of these gargoyles. One of the gargoyles falling quite low. Going to be brought back home to main base, falling to 8 health. Not going to be taken today, but Breath of Fire is here and does hit air. Going to be used quite a bit. Does get the Lich Kill secured courtesy of the Entangle. Going to get some body blocks on the Panda. Going to try to secure this Panda kill. Panda does get the TP pass to it and will be going back home to safety. Does take another ghoul down right before all of that as well. And Spiral making the most out of what he can. Just one Moonwell left to tap from. Panda right back up to 70% health just like that. And the Dryads are on the way. iNSUP continuing on creeping. Now just a DK. No Lich to soak some of this XP. which you know he would like to do right now in the 35 air army of INSUP, picking away at the 44 food army of Spiral. Dryads in production, and an expansion on the way up, eating the tree path right here, getting a nice safety net to retreat to if necessary. Gargs in masses are so deadly to unarmored units. Gonna start picking away at some of these Huntresses as well, but first targeting the archers. Gonna take down one more Huntress. Breath of Fire onto the Gargoyles with the Drunken Haze as well. Starting to burn alive, gets a nice Death Coil onto the injured Gargoyle. Gargoyles now turning their attention on over to the Huntress, followed by the Panda. Panda falling quite low. One more Death Coil in stock, gonna opt to heal up the Gargoyles instead. Gargoyles again doing so much damage to the Huntress ground army. When you don't have the critical mass of Dryads or Archers, it's so hard to be able to take out these Gargoyles. They're so vicious in the sky. Nice Entangle on the Death Knight. No TP on the Death Knight. Only has the Cloak of Shadows. No Breath of Fire in stock either, but the Dryad's able to get some slow on the DK. DK running so fast, courtesy of the Unholy Aura. Not going to be caught this time, but the Gargoyles and Lich remain. Spiral still has to deal with this. Just because the DK is down, he is not out. He'll be back any second now. And Gargoyles now turning their attention on over to the Panda. Panda has nothing in the inventory to assist with this aerial attack. Now the Dryads falling one by one. Spiral struggling to get any sort of critical mass of range units to be able to deal with these Gargoyles. You now have about 8 Gargs in the air. Death Knight in really low levels is one Entangle and Focus Fire away from potentially falling himself, but does have a Potion of Healing behind all of this. Brewmaster does fall, and this is going to be yet another rough mid-game transition for Spiral. Not sure if he's going to be able to get enough units to deal with these Gargoyles. Mark Gargs continue to be produced by INSUP. And Spiral only at 160 health, going to lose the Keeper due to Coil Nova. GG's called. INSUP takes the series 2-0.